It's as fierce a rivalry as there is in the NBA.
It's hard to stay in the moment in this kind of a situation. You get giddy, you know, you got a lot of energy. You stay really focused.
If you can't get going in this type of game, there's a problem, man.
Everybody standing and making noise. Look at these two teams. They're looking each other right square in the eye and not backing down.
There is some animosity. There's not a lot of love lost between these two clubs.
This has been an incredibly physical, intense, competitive series. Let's compete. Let's go get the basketball. Let's go.
First Nowitzki shedding 2 Spurs. It counts in the foul.
A virtuoso all-time great performance.
Ball tipped out to Ori, straight on 3. Good! The Lakers have won!
They just pulled off the biggest playoff upset in NBA history.
This is one for the ages. It doesn't get any better than this.
The city of Dallas is a modern, fast-paced, sprawling metropolitan area in northeast Texas. 270 miles south lies quaint and historic San Antonio, the cultural gateway to the American Southwest. But despite their differences, the two cities share an intense passion for the game of basketball.
It starts in Texas, right deep in the heart of Texas, like the song goes. You have a fierce rivalry that has been brewing here.
The proximity of Dallas and San Antonio being just such a short distance away, and both of these teams have been right in position to win the NBA title, and so it makes for some good drama.
Not only are the guys always pumped up to play the Spurs, but the fans get juiced up, and no matter where I go, it's always the Spurs and the Mavs, Spurs and the Mavs.
In December 2007, the Spurs honored former guard Avery Johnson by retiring his jersey. But as the Mavs' current coach, he's been on both sides of this rivalry.
I think you can find some place to put that in your big old house in Dallas. That's a bad word around here, Avery.
San Antonio always thinks of Avery Johnson as their own son, and they always will, no matter how successful he is anyplace else.
Avery earned a place in the hearts of the Spurs fans in 1999 when the team reached the NBA Finals behind the play of Tim Duncan and the leadership of Johnson.
I'll tell y'all something. We ain't did nothing yet. So let's come with the same intensity. Let's go.
1, 2, 3.
Defense.
We're talking about it.
And while Duncan carried the team in the finals, it was Johnson's clutch shot in Game 5 that sealed the title.
Avery Johnson for the lead, yeah. And the pride of the great Lone Star State, our NBA champions.
Here come the Mavericks.
Meanwhile, up north in Dallas, the Mavericks were emerging from a decade of mediocrity with an up-and-coming team that played an exciting brand of basketball.
The Mavericks putting on a clinic.
In 2001, they won 53 games, earning a playoff berth for the first time in 11 years.
Go man, a lot of teams. Let's knock them out. 1, 2, 3, win.
In the second round, the Mavericks would collide with their Texas rivals, the Spurs, and like the cities they represent, the teams were very different.
They talked about how they were the offensive guns and everything else, but we prided ourselves on defense.
It's about stops. That's who we are. We stop people, we win.
It was the Spurs' approach that prevailed as they stifled the Mavs with their defensive intensity.
Johnson, 2-on-1, Daniels.
The defense has been smothering by the Spurs.
And while San Antonio's textbook offense may not have been flashy, it was more than enough to get the job done.
The San Antonio Spurs will go on to the Western Conference Finals.
But despite their disappointment, the Mavericks had now established themselves as contenders in the West.
I remember when 10, 15, 20 wins was was an all right season for the Mavericks. But now that's so far in the past.
Dallas continued to get better, and in 2003, they won 60 games, tied for the most in the NBA with none other than their in-state rivals. But the Spurs had also gotten stronger, thanks to the infusion of some new international blood with the second-year point guard Tony Parker and rookie Manu Ginobili. The two teams had been on a collision course all season long, so it was fitting that they would meet with a trip to the NBA Finals on the line.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Texas Shootout. San Antonio and Dallas meeting for the Western Conference title for the first time.
Dallas was no longer the feisty underdog. Now they felt their time had arrived.
We knew they were going to come out fired up and playing hard. They really believed that, they could win, as they should have believed, and it was going to be a war.
But Dallas still had to find an answer for Tim Duncan, who had taken his place as the game's best player after winning his second straight MVP award. And he showed why in Game 1, as he led the Spurs to an 18-point lead.
Nice pass, Duncan.
But the Mavs showed they weren't the same team the Spurs had beaten in 2001.
Nowitzki serving up a facial.
Dallas just starts firing away, and they have that herky-jerk style of basketball. It's just Nelly, preaches shoot, 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 and shoot.
The strategy paid off as the Mavs climbed back into the game, but they still trailed by one until Michael Finley got the ball in the final seconds.
Finley puts it down, attacks quickly, driving layup, yes!
In a stunner, the Dallas Mavericks come from an 18-point deficit to take Game 1.
Go! Go!
After the Spurs evened the series at 1, the scene shifted to Dallas, where the city was in the grips of Mavs mania.
Hey guys, remember the playground days? All your own fouls? All your own fouls tonight. We're gonna trust you guys, okay? Michael, that was a joke.
But Finley was all business as he and the Mavs stormed out to an early lead.
Finley, yes. They're in the attack mode right now. They know the crowd is behind them.
Just keep playing through this. All right? You're a hell of a group, and you want to just keep playing. Let's go.
The Spurs roared back behind Tony Parker, who scored 19 points in the third quarter.
Tony Parker has been electrified.
And after falling behind in the fourth, things went from bad to worse for the Mavericks.
And Nowitzki is hurt. Nowitzki is down. And Dallas has just lost its best player, Dirk Nowitzki.
The Mavericks went on to lose Game 3, but even more devastating was the loss of Nowitzki for the remainder of the series.
When your go-to guy offensively goes down, it's difficult, but we've played well and we've won some games without him, so it's important for us to stay positive.
Dallas Mavericks had a great year. They got a good little team, but it's over tonight.
And with Dirk forced to watch from the bench, the undermanned Mavericks were simply overwhelmed by the San Antonio attack.
Again! Steve Kerr with another 3!
The Spurs won the series in 6 games, and while Dallas could only wonder what might have been, San Antonio went on to capture its second NBA title. Unable to get past San Antonio, Dallas felt it was time for a change.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's slide a little bit. Here we go. Let's slide a little bit.
Their new head coach was Avery Johnson, who would bring the same commitment to defense he had learned with the Spurs.
We're on the move. Here we go. Lead foot, trail foot.
He definitely put his stamp on this team. I mean, he's one of the toughest guys on the team now.
Switch sides, Blue, switch sides. Here we go.
His personality is tough-minded, and ultimately that's where we're trying to go.
I like tough, physical teams. We like to just play as hard-nosed defense.
Come on, right now, let's get more stops than them. Okay, let's go.
Dallas has got to get a defensive stand. James guarded by Dirk on the switch. He drives, blocked, Dirk, and it's no good!
This year we play a lot better defense.
We're tougher.
Inside of 10 seconds to go. Dallas defending a 1-point lead. It's Melo driving around Daniels. Blocked by Jet.
With their newfound defensive toughness, the 2006 Mavs returned to the 60-win mark. But once again, they finished second behind the Spurs. And the two heavyweights collided in the Western semifinals in what promised to be an epic playoff duel. And to add yet another subplot to the rivalry, a former Spurs hero was now running the Mavericks.
It's just the way the game works sometimes. You know, everybody's happy for Avery, though, because he has such an impact here in San Antonio, bringing the first championship here, and now being the coach going up against him. It's pretty special.
Once he had teamed up with Tim Duncan to win a title. Now, Avery's challenge was devising a way to stop him. But in Game 1, Duncan overpowered the Mavs and led the Spurs to victory. But Johnson made adjustments, and his Mavericks displayed the toughness that he had instilled in them.
Knocked away, and here come the Mavericks with a 3-on-1, and Howard puts it through.
And how about that stifling Dallas defense?
Duncan rejected by John.
Terry, 6 to shoot, crosses over, steps forward, then back, 3 to shoot. He puts up a 20-footer in the corner and got it over Duncan. Oh, incredible!
Dallas reeled off 3 straight wins, taking a commanding 3-1 lead.
Yeah. How big? That's big right there, baby. We ain't done yet. We're going to stay focused. We got one more to go.
But with the champs on the ropes, the Mavericks learned just how difficult it would be to land that knockout punch.
Parker behind the back pass, Duncan, slam, dunk.
Game on the line, Nowitzki has it.
Bowen with the block and the tie-up. What a play.
After starring for 9 years in Dallas, Michael Finley was now a Spur. And in Game 6, he would come back to haunt his former team.
Right corner, Finley launches on the catch and shoot and hits a three-pointer. Michael Finley with a dagger.
The heart of a champion keeps going. There'll be a 7th game in San Antonio.
It's been a seesaw battle this entire series. It's a credit to the way the teams are built and the mental toughness that both of the teams have.
This series between the Spurs and Dallas Mavericks started 15 days ago, and now it's come to this, Game 7.
I won't have to see you again. I don't want to see you ever again.
After surrendering a 3-1 lead, many were doubting the Mavs' resolve.
We'll not be denied tonight, fellas. Don't be satisfied.
This our time. This our time, baby.
The Spurs had the titles, the experience, and the home court advantage. But none of that seemed to matter to the Mavericks.
Sensational move by Nowitzki.
And this is a Mavericks team that is showing no fear.
Terry for 3. On fire.
Dallas went up by 20, but soon they experienced the all-too-familiar feeling of letting a comfortable lead slip away under the weight of the Spurs' attack.
Duncan, yes. Ginobili for 3, yes! San Antonio leads for the first time.
Come on, hang tough, man.
You fight.
Let's go. They made a little run. Now it's our time.
Previous Dallas teams may have wilted under the pressure, but these Mavs show the character and heart of their head coach.
Nowitzki goes right at Bowen. And the foul! This an impressive win for the Mavericks here in San Antonio. The celebration is on in Dallas.
When Dallas beat San Antonio in the playoffs, that's where I think the rivalry really reached its crest, especially because that series was so amazingly competitive.
It was an amazing series. Every game was a battle. We kind of hung in there together, and we believed that it was our time to win this.
Following a crushing defeat in the 2006 NBA Finals, the Dallas Mavericks pushed themselves even harder in 2007 to get to the top of the NBA mountain.
Come that close to a championship, baby, you got to work on your game and get better. Come back this year, Nothing can stop us.
Dirk with 3, 2, jab step, put it on the floor, over Swift, at the horn, he hits!
And though they had moved on, they still had trouble letting go of the previous season's loss to Miami.
You been taking care of my ring? Hey, I got it all polished up. I got it all ready for you. That's what I want. It's all good right here.
But that bitter taste of defeat served as motivation and pushed the Mavericks to new heights.
Terry driving right, pulls up, shoots the 3, hits! He hit it! He hit it!
Behind their veteran leaders and head coach Avery Johnson, the Mavs won a league-best 67 games.
Show me something. Dunk on somebody and scream. Do something.
Underneath the damn pier, look at that. 6th fastest team in NBA history to 50 wins.
We're not really worried about the streak so much. We're trying to get better. You know, ultimately we know the best record right now doesn't bring us anything in June.
67 wins for the Dallas Mavericks. What a year.
They don't really ever believe the hype about themselves when we win, and they don't really believe all of the criticism when we lose.
Avery Johnson has this team on a historic roll, but they have struggled against the Warriors.
Golden State had missed the playoffs 12 years in a row and seemed to pose little threat to Dallas. But their head coach was no stranger to the Mavericks.
Don Nelson is back for his second stint as Warriors coach, a little over a year after retiring in Dallas.
I was so happy when they announced him the coach. I knew what our team would look like, and I'm just so grateful.
Despite Nelly's presence, the Warriors found themselves 9 games under 500 with a month left to play.
Now you guys got to go on a little run here to make the playoffs. Is it realistic?
It's definitely realistic. I think that this is what the game is about. You know, finding ways to win, playing to get in the playoffs, and you got to play to the end of the season.
And down the stretch, the Warriors would suddenly catch fire, charging towards the playoffs.
From down 12, the Warriors take the lead. Defensive rebound, Barrett. 5 seconds to go. Warriors won't call time. Monte for the win. Yes! Warriors have won at the buzzer by Monte Ellis. At 5, at 4 for the lead. He got it! A 3 with 1.2 left.
Baron Davis all smiles as he congratulates the rest of the roster.
It's been a great run. It's been a great run because we've all bought in to something that's bigger than us individually. And that's all that coach has been stressing the whole year.
All right, Warrior fans, wake up the kids. Tell the neighbors, shout it from the rooftops. The Golden State Warriors are going to the postseason.
First round, playoffs, in 12 years. Feel good right now. Because of you, you brought all of us together, Coach, and we believe in you. Coach, I love you. I love you, Coach. It's all on you, Coach. Yes, Coach. 1, 2, 3.
Now it was off to Dallas for a matchup with the top-seeded Mavericks.
We had high expectations coming off 67 wins, coming off the finals the year before, and we thought this was our year.
While many considered this series a mere formality for Dallas, their former coach posed a greater challenge than anyone anticipated.
He took this franchise from a perennial loser to a perennial winner, and now Avery Johnson's running the show here.
Don Nelson knows every player physically and mentally, and that's the advantage that Golden State has in terms of just going out and playing them, but they won't beat them. This will be an entertaining series, but Dallas will win.
It was kind of set up, David against Goliath. Nobody really gave us a shot.
And Nowitzki has his shot blocked by Steven Jackson.
We just had to listen to what Coach had to tell us and try to take them away from what they do best.
Burke's taken 5 shots, only made 1. Nowitzki over Harrington. This is everything. Golden State, the 8th seed, has come in and announced their presence with authority.
I think someone wanted to wake up from a bad dream, but it wasn't a dream. They just sat there and they really couldn't believe it. The way we took it to them in that first game, I think it really took the wind out of their sails.
But even though the Warriors had shocked Dallas and neutralized their home court advantage, Nelson was downplaying the win.
They were just off tonight. It's just one of those things that happen once in a while. They normally make those shots, and I don't know how they didn't go in. Things worked out this game. So anyway, it's just one game, and looks like it'll be a long series.
If they don't get excited
quickly they can find themselves out of these playoffs, because this Golden State Warriors team is for real.
Dallas in transition. Howard for Devin Harris. He scores. Terry from the baseline. Foul. He's on the runway now, baby. Jason Eugene Terry has lit a fire under Dallas.
And sure enough, the Mavericks evened the series with a big win in Game 2.
You know, we kind of look like the Mavericks today.
With the series shifting to Golden State, it marked the first playoff game in the Bay Area since 1994.
This has been a communal event, not just a basketball game, but finally the little engine that could basketball team playing a home playoff game against the best team in the NBA. And I think this building, if it doesn't levitate, I'll be shocked, because people are ready for this one.
You gotta imagine you haven't eaten for 12 years and you're starving. You're starving. And finally you get to serve a nice Thanksgiving feast. We're gonna feast, baby. We're gonna eat everything on the table. Can I have those mashed potatoes, please? I'll have gravy too. All the above.
It was electric. I mean, we saw, people tailgating, and people were there at 3 o'clock, and the game was at, it was almost like a football event. People were there early barbecuing and having a good time.
This is year 13. We haven't made it in 12 years. That's what it means right there. That's what it means. There you go. That's what it means.
Looking down that tunnel, and you knew that place was packed. You could just feel the energy. You could feel the energy. You couldn't wait to all run out on the floor together in front of that crowd.
The Warriors drew inspiration from their frenzied fans and wouldn't let them down.
Jackson the steal, leads Jason with a 3-on-1. Jason, lob, Monte, layup good. Both guys go down. Drives baseline, goes up, over the head, it's fouled, gets the roll. Basket good by Jay Rich. Barrett hook pass up top, Jay Rich for 3, got it. And that does it. And the celebration begins in Oakland. The Warriors win 109-91.
My 8-year career, I've never seen anything like it. We definitely rode their motivation. They were so loud and so into the game that it was easy for us to play with them.
It was now clear that the Warriors were for real, and their magical ride would continue in Game 4. With a seemingly endless surge of energy, the Warriors remained a step ahead of Dallas and took a 3-1 lead.
And the Warriors are 1 game away from becoming the first 8th seed to knock off a #1 seed in a best-of-7 series.
We hate losing. We're all competitors. And now it's for sure not the position we wanted to be in, but the series is over when the first team gets the 4 wins.
Back home for Game 5, the Mavericks needed a win to save their season. But once again, they just could not shake the Warriors.
And this team just keeps coming, and they're undaunted even when they find themselves trailing.
But Mavs superstar Dirk Nowitzki made sure that his team would survive for at least one more game.
And it was Nowitzki! Dirk has done it all coming down the stretch of this one. And the Mavericks will dribble out the clock, and you can't throw dirt on them just yet. They are very much alive.
We're still down 3-2. Every game is a Game 7 situation. It's going to be a beast to win there. Their fans are amazing.
We knew that we had a chance to make history. We knew we had a chance to do something for the organization that hasn't been done in 12, 13 years.
He's open again. They let him fly. Good! Incredible! Steven Jackson cannot be denied.
Just as soon as you stepped in the arena, the hair on your arm rose up. Fans have been waiting a long time for it, so we had the whole, city behind us.
Again, Barnes down the lane. Don't do it! Over Nowitzki! Hard to the rack with a left hand! Peters down the middle, bounce pass to Richardson. Jammed it! Right hand slam! That might be the exclamation point. 96-75, Richardson steals the ball on a pass. Throws to Barnes. Barnes down the middle, pass to Jay Rich. 3-ball left side. Got it! The Golden State Warriors have pulled off the biggest playoff upset in NBA history as they dispatch the 67-win Dallas Mavericks 4-2.
The Warriors had made believers out of the entire basketball world, and no one savored the team's historic achievement more than their leader, Don Nelson.
The biggest thing for me, I was happy for Coach. We had to go out there and play. We wanted to make history, but I think everybody in the locker room wanted to win for him because it meant a lot to him.
And Richardson comes over to the bench and hugs Don Nelson. What a sweet win for Don Nelson.
We wanted to go out and prove to Dallas and the rest of the NBA that Coach Nelly is one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Mavs are staring in disbelief. They were on a championship mission, and that mission got derailed in Oakland.
To lose in the first round was heartbreaking. I think every career has ups and downs, and this was definitely one of the low spots.
We believe in you, Coach. That's for you, Coach.
Warriors, we got the Warriors. Warriors, Warriors, we got the Warriors. Warriors, Warriors.
3, 2, 1. A three-peat for the world champion Los Angeles Lakers.
That's the triple right there.
Winners of 3 NBA titles behind head coach Phil Jackson and superstars Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, the 2004 Los Angeles Lakers added 2 more future Hall of Famers, Karl Malone and Gary Payton, hoping to regain the championship with their star-studded cast.
For the 4th time over the last 5 seasons, the Lakers try to claim another world title.
Meanwhile, the Detroit Pistons, with their new head coach Larry Brown and newly acquired Rasheed Wallace, were a team not of glamour, but grit, winning with toughness and hard-nosed defense.
And it's blocked again! What a block, Tayshaun Prince. How did Prince get there?
You go out there, we try to get after you for 48 minutes. And, that play at the end of the game was that last minute.
That tenacity helped the Pistons capture the Eastern Conference crown. But waiting in the finals were the Lakers, with their championship pedigree and the swagger to go with it, and most expected them to deliver an early knockout.
We always felt as though that we were underdogs. I think a lot of guys on this team have been traded. It wasn't actually like the first team they was drafted by, and we all had something to prove.
Granted, they're a good team, but we ain't scared of them, man. I don't know why y'all cats think we scared of the Lakers or, like the Lakers are this dominant force. We ain't scared of them cats, man.
We turn the TV on, we pick up a newspaper, 8-1 underdogs, David Goliath, they can't win. And we were just sitting there saying, you have got to be kidding me. These people are out of their mind.
From the start of Game 1, the Pistons served notice that they belonged in the series and that nothing would come easy for the Lakers.
Down the lane, flips it up, blocked by Ben. Over to the left side is Payton, and Campbell blocks Payton's driving layup. Now Chauncey Billups looking for a fast break opportunity, drives past Kobe for the left-handed layup.
You can sense the Pistons getting more confident as this game goes on.
I don't think they knew this was coming as far as our defense, but they didn't have a clue. We definitely made a statement.
A phenomenal achievement for Detroit here tonight. Get out of here.
Let's go, Blue. It puts a lot of pressure on us for next game. This is the type of team that they come out, they play aggressive defense, they play well. They just wanted it a little bit more than we wanted it tonight.
Game 2 would find the Lakers in an unusual and uncomfortable position.
For the Los Angeles Lakers, it is crisis night.
1, 2, 3, let's!
But with their trademark defense continuing to ignite them, the Pistons would quickly prove that Game 1 was no fluke.
Steal here, and here's Billups.
That's another turnover for Kobe.
They could take a stranglehold in this series if they could beat L.A. tonight. Another jam for the big fella. Rasheed in. Ben Wallace stuffs it up over Kobe.
To the shock of the LA crowd, the underdogs were threatening to take a 2-0 lead back to Detroit.
That might be it, as Ben Wallace has made this a 6-point game, closing in on their 2nd straight win in Los Angeles.
With the series in danger of slipping away, the Lakers battled to stay within striking distance. They trimmed Detroit's lead to 3 points in the game's final seconds, and now would have one last shot.
Hey, stay on the floor. Hey, they're out of timeout. Make them catch the ball out. and everyone is paying attention to Kobe Bryant.
Kobe's the main man. 5-5, got it. Hamilton, the shot, the three, yes! Kobe Bryant drains the three. 2.1 left on the clock. We're deadlocked at 89. Unbelievable.
Kobe's dagger sent the game into overtime, where LA prevailed. And after being on the ropes, the Lakers now had new life.
99-91, a magnificent win.
We came here, should have won 2 games. We're crushed. We had a winnable game, and everybody's in that locker room down. We just got to bounce back.
The Pistons would have the home court for the next 3 games at the Palace of Auburn Hills, but the Lakers had a sense that momentum was on their side.
Red light, green light. Before we go back, red light, green light. Play together, play hard. Come on, man. Let's go. Come on,
One, two, three. Many questioned how Detroit would respond to its crushing loss. But the questions were quickly answered as Detroit's defense swarmed the Lakers. And Kobe, the hero of Game 2, was reduced to a virtual 0 in Game 3.
Kobe Bryant was held without a field goal in 22 minutes in the first half.
And in a series that was expected to be a laugher for the Lakers, once again it was Detroit doing the laughing.
They're up 2-1 on the Lakers. They smashed them tonight.
One thing about what the Pistons do, not only do they show up, they're going to play you hard.
Sensing that LA was vulnerable, the Pistons relentlessly turned up the pressure in Game 4.
Rip in the lane for the hanging gun. He hit it.
Tayshaun backs in from the right side. Dishes foul line to Rasheed. Up gunning. Got it.
The Lakers look discombobulated.
Everything's going their way. We got to start working out here now.
But the Lakers had no answers, and now they stood on the brink of elimination.
When we won the championship, Detroit basketball was hard-nosed, working hard, leaving everything on the floor.
With their season on the line in Game 5, LA searched in vain for a way to slow down the hard-charging Pistons.
Ben driving ahead of the crowd, up for the flying flood. Ben Wallace strikes again.
And we're the world champs, right? Us! We're the world champs!
You're a kid and you're watching the finals and the playoffs and you sit back in your room and you got your ball with you and you're flicking the ball up like you're shooting and just wishing, one day that you'll be in this position. And finally you are.
We spend a lot of time talking about what's wrong with the Lakers, but folks, I'm here to tell you there's a lot right about the Detroit Pistons. They are winning this. The Lakers aren't losing it. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, it's over. It's happened, Detroit. You believed in this team, and they have delivered a 3rd NBA World Championship to the Motor City.
We shook up the world! We shook up the world!
I think it's the greatest testimony to teamwork and hard work. And as a result, we won a championship.
That first day was 98% of the people out there who didn't believe in us, but guess what? David conquered Goliath.
As they entered the 2005 season, the Detroit Pistons didn't feel like they were getting their due respect as reigning NBA champions.
Motivated us because people act like we didn't really win it last year, like the Lakers lost it. And we wanted to come out and show everybody the road goes through Detroit.
While the Pistons began the season with virtually the same roster, an Eastern rival had made a huge change. After losing in the finals, the Lakers traded Shaquille O'Neal to Miami, where he issued a bold guarantee.
Remember this? Because I'm going to bring a championship to Miami, I promise.
I meant that when I said that. A lot of people thought I was crazy. It was like, what are you doing? It's a brand new team, brand new city. You'll never get it done. You'll probably be retired before this team even gets recognized.
But Shaq had the perfect complement to his game in budding superstar Dwayne Wade, and the two would forge an immediate chemistry.
With the Lakers, look out! Oh my!
It was just beautiful watching those two guys work together.
Wade the alley-oop, and a two-hand monster jam by O'Neal.
After posting the best record in the East, the Heat swept their first 2 playoff series.
For the first time since 1997, the Miami Heat have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
But there waiting were the reigning champs, the Pistons.
1, 2, 3,
Any team with Shaquille O'Neal on it is really a difficult team to guard. You add Dwayne Wade to the mix. I knew it was going to be a very difficult task to beat Miami.
The series proved to be a fierce struggle right from the start, as the team split the first 2 games in Miami and then the next 2 in Detroit. But when they returned home for a pivotal Game 5, the Heat were dealt a serious blow.
Here it is in Game 5, the Heat at home, and Dwayne hit a shot that put Miami up by 20 points.
Wade from 21, got it out on the wing. 15 for Wade, and he's holding his back as he goes back defensively.
It was right after he made the shot that clutched at his ribs.
And down to the floor is Dwayne Wade.
Miami would hold on for the win to take a 3-2 series lead, but the loss of their catalyst was a heavy price to pay.
Take a hole, guys. Take a hole.
Forced to sit out Game 6 in Detroit with a strained rib muscle, Wade watched helplessly as the Pistons routed Miami to tie the series at 3 games apiece.
The outlet stolen by Ben Wallace. Hamilton shovels for Ben for the jam. And the Detroit Pistons have evened up the series, winning big, 91-66.
Now it was back to Miami for the decisive Game 7. 1 game for a trip to the NBA Finals.
We got 1, we got 2. Yep. We came for 2. 1, 2, 3.
The dramatic return of Dwayne Wade gave the Heat a huge emotional lift, and he would help Miami seize control of the game heading into the 4th quarter, while the fans sensed that the series was now within their grasp.
Now Wade's going to go left side. Wade under the basket. Off the glass and in. Oh my goodness, how do you do that?
But in that final quarter, it was the Pistons who showed exactly why they were the defending champions.
Pass under the basket, intercepted. Big turnover. Back with it, Phillips all the way in to Hamilton under the basket and up and in for Hamilton. Huge turnover, Miami.
This time, the Heat and their fans could only watch as the Pistons claimed another conference title.
The Detroit Pistons are headed back to the NBA Finals.
It just really stuck a knife in here. When I went in the locker room, man, it was just quiet forever.
But as the Heat tried to shake off that loss the following season, they would suffer another setback. Shaq was sidelined with a leg injury, and Miami struggled mightily without him.
And this will be the Heat's 4th straight loss.
As the frustration grew, a dramatic change was made. Head coach Stan Van Gundy stepped down, and team president Pat Riley took his place, determined to turn the team around.
When you're in the huddle, you know, he's wearing that championship ring, and you happen to glance down and you see that, and you're like, wow, you don't want to let him down. You're willing to run through a brick wall for that guy.
That's it. Stretch it. That's it. Good, guys, good.
Meanwhile, Detroit appeared to be stronger than ever. After falling to the Spurs in the NBA Finals, they now seem to be taking their revenge on the entire league en route to a 64-win season.
Give the Pistons credit. Really together, team-like performance that you would expect from this team.
64-18 for the Pistons, a franchise record-setting season.
In search of their 3rd straight NBA Finals appearance, the Pistons were clear favorites entering their conference finals rematch against the rejuvenated Heat.
Oh, they're not going to beat Detroit. Shaq's old, D-Wade, don't play no defense, and Rip is this and that. We wanted that challenge. It's like your basic kung fu movie. You know, you're the young master coming up, and hey, you ain't nothing until you beat Chin-Hua Lee right there.
This time, Miami was intent on writing a different ending. Mentally and physically stronger than a year ago, they came out on the attack.
Phillips blocked, going and got a piece of it. Really have to credit this Miami supporting cast and get
doing it on the road. Walker to Posey. Posey's been good from three. Knocks down one.
Well, the good news, Miami wins game 1 as they shock the Pistons here at the Palace.
And that was a great team win, and that's when we got our confidence like, yo, you know, we're better than this team.
And no one was better than Wade, whose sensational play carried the Heat to a commanding series lead, and they never looked back.
O'Neal with the deflection. Here he goes. Shaquille O'Neal. Oh, boy. Wow. The fast break king. And it's a 10-point lead, and this place has gone crazy.
Knocking off the Pistons in 6 games, the Heat could finally put their nemesis behind them and move on.
And for the first time in this franchise's history, 18 years in the league, the Miami Heat are off to the NBA championship.
It was like we never overcame the Pistons. We always get this close, but we never can get over the hump. So to finally get over the hump and do it, you know, kind of convincingly, really felt good to us. And to do it on our home floor really made it special. Feel good. Feel good now. Where you going, Dwayne? Where you going? Man, we're going to the finals, man.
The rivalry between Sacramento and the Lakers started like any rivalry. It's close proximity usually, and you play each other a bunch of times. So when you see a team that much, that's easy for a rivalry to develop. You start knowing the players, you start disliking the players.
The first chapter in the Kings-Lakers rivalry came in 2000, when the Pacific Division teams met in the first round of the playoffs after developing some bad blood in the regular season.
We understood that they had it in for us, and so we looked forward to this matchup.
And the Lakers would dominate the first 2 games of the series.
O'Neal against Divac. That's the way the playoffs begin for the Lakers.
Picked up by O'Neal, 3-on-1. And the Lakers, at least through 2 games, look unbeatable.
Facing elimination, the underdog Kings rallied on their home floor.
Sacramento with numbers. Williams pushing it. Line pass to Anderson for the reverse.
And they made an unlikely comeback.
Poked away by Weber. 3-on-2 behind the back to Yankovic. The series goes back to Los Angeles for Game 5.
Pushing the Lakers to the limit, the Kings had the momentum. But in Game 5, LA had the deciding factor, Shaq. With 32 points and 18 rebounds, O'Neal led the Lakers to victory and on to the next round. But the Kings had gotten their attention.
We put a little scare into them, and they knew we were on the verge.
But any fear instilled by Sacramento evaporated the next season when the teams met in the conference semifinals, and the Lakers dismantled the Kings in a 4-game sweep.
Bryant around Christie. Facial survey on Vlade Divac.
The pain of that defeat hit the Kings hard as they became just another bump in the road for the steamrolling Lakers, who went on to win their 2nd straight NBA championship.
Yeah, get a look at the dynasty. This is the next one right here.
Drawing motivation from the loss, the Kings won 61 games the next year and faced LA again, this time in the conference finals.
2001-2002 season was definitely one of the best for Sacramento Kings, and we had the best record. We knew we had to go to the Lakers because they were the champions.
These 2 teams, back like the old days, there is some animosity. There's not a lot of love lost between these 2 clubs.
To motivate yourself, you have to target your enemy, and for us it was Los Angeles Lakers. For them it was Sacramento Kings.
Vlade Divac could say it wasn't going to win, so Game 1, we knew the pressure was on them, and we just wanted to come out and take it to them, and we did.
Jimmy tried to split the double team. Here's Bryant to steal, and the run out. Jalen with the right hand. Kobe Bryant. Fisher on the left wing, now works top of the key. A lob look. Kobe for the 2-hand jam.
Behind Kobe's 30 points, the Lakers would capture Game 1, their 12th consecutive road playoff win. And what was billed as a heavyweight bout looked to some like a mismatch.
There comes a time in the growth of a team where you just got to stand up, and it's time for Sacramento to stand up to this Lakers club.
Nobody wins here, but the Kings want to beat me.
In Game 2, the Kings would demonstrate to the Lakers that this would be a battle after all, and showed why they had been the league's top team.
The Kings have taken the lead. Devon's going strong to the hoop and dunks in the face of Samaki Walker. That's a back.
The Kings had gained not just an important victory, but a measure of respect and a surge of confidence. But as the series shifted to Los Angeles for Game 3, the two-time defending champions were showing little sign of concern.
We come out on our home floor in Game 3, still a belief that winning Game 3 and 4 would put us up in the series 3-1. They jump out the box, they shoot as good a percentage as you can shoot on an opponent's home floor in a playoff game.
Now there's Devon's into the lane. Vlade Devon's a collision, lost the ball. Bibby a recovery and hits the jumper on the fade left baseline.
The Kings had the Lakers on their heels and weren't letting up.
Bibby a steal, shoots out of the right corner. Oh yeah, Bibby with 4 points in a row.
With a convincing victory, the Kings had knocked some of the swagger out of the Lakers.
Now we have a fight on our hands. We just have to fight. And we play better when we have to fight anyway.
But in Game 4, the Kings would erase any remaining doubt that they were a serious threat to the Lakers.
Right side, Weber. Weber turns on Ori. Weber drives on Ori. In from the right to the hoop for the jam. He let O'Neal.
This is clearly a game, all the momentum favoring the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, it's been a stunner to this point.
Leading by 24 points, it appeared that Sacramento's Kings were knocking the NBA's Kings off their throne. With the Lakers on the ropes, it was clear that they had reached a crisis point with the game, their season, and the fate of their dynasty hanging in the balance. And the Lakers would respond like champions as they embarked on a furious rally and stormed back into the game.
The Lakers cut it back to 16.
Here we come.
Less than a minute, 98-95 Sacramento. Left corner, Ori for three. Oh yeah! Robert Ori! The Staples Center explodes to life as the Lakers are giving indication they're not through yet.
Though the Lakers had answered the challenge with one of the greatest comebacks in playoff history, they hadn't come far enough. LA still trailed by 2, but would have one last chance in the final seconds.
Now Ori out front, 10 seconds. Kobe Bryant against Christie. Kobe Bryant on the move against Christie. In for the right, flips his shot up, no good. O'Neal lays it up, missed it. Ball tipped out to Ori, a straight on three. Good! The Lakers have won! Robert Ori's greatest hits tour continues.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Robert Horry, instead of going for rebound, he stayed behind the three-point line, and it was one of the best passes I made in my career, straight in his hand.
Robert Ori's miracle not only tied the series, it added more fuel to this already simmering rivalry.
Everybody could make that shot, that's last shot. It's just lucky shot, that's all. You don't need to have a skills or some, in that kind of situation. You just throw it and if it goes in, goes in.
Robert, Vlade was saying that it was basically just a luck shot. That situation, you just have to throw it up. Was it luck or was there more to it?
It wasn't no luck shot. I've been doing that for all my career, so he should know. He better read a paper or something.
The Kings had been dealt a crushing blow, but if there were any questions about their resolve, they would answer them in Game 5 as they battled the Lakers to another dramatic fourth quarter finish.
Game number 5 coming down to the final seconds, as did game number 4. But the Lakers have a 1-point lead.
And just like in Game 4, a hero would step forward.
Bibby has it back, shoots the outside jumper, good on the right side. Bibby sticks a 20-footer with 8.2 remaining.
It was the biggest win in Kings franchise history, leaving them one victory from the finals.
We all loved each other and cared for each other and wanted to win. I felt that championship was ours.
But their post-game party was not appreciated by their guests from Los Angeles.
No, we're upset because they're out there celebrating like we're done. This was the end-all, be-all game for them.
The more you whine, the more bigger I get. And the more bigger I get strong. And the more stronger I get, nobody can stop me.
And in Game 6, Shaq would take it upon himself to make sure there would be a Game 7.
He wanted the ball, he wanted to get things started, and that set the tone. And once he said that, you could just see the confidence fill up in everybody else on the team.
It's been the Shaquille O'Neal show. Shaw wide left into O'Neal underneath for the jam right in the face of Pollard.
Led by 41 points from Shaq, the Lakers had emphatically answered their wake-up call and forced the series back to Sacramento.
Beat LA! Beat LA! Go Kings! Championship is awaiting us! Let's go Sacramento!
It has all come down to this, the seventh and final game of this Western Conference Final Series.
And as this final round approached, it was clear that there was plenty of fight left in the Kings.
Lonnie in the lane. To Weber, baseline right. Works underneath. Off the D-box for the jam. Quick pass.
Still, the Lakers would not easily surrender what was theirs, taking a slim lead into the fourth quarter. But the Kings would battle back, carried once again by their young point guard, Mike Bibby, who was showing that he, too, had the heart of a champion.
Comes back to Weber. Right corner, Bibby. He fires. Good! But Bibby hits again.
With 12 fourth quarter points, Bibby helped send the game into overtime. And as the extra session began, the Kings seized the advantage, hoping this was their moment to finally topple the Lakers.
Yeah, Chris Weber connects, and the Kings have taken the lead. 102-100 Sacramento. Comes back to Weber. Now to Bibby, left corner. He fires good. Mike Bibby sticks another one. Sacramento by 2.
In the closing moments, with the score tied, the Lakers were facing the greatest test of their 3-year reign.
We have something that we say, and it's how far we go back. You know, we go back a long way, and we've been too far to, let this thing just slip away.
The game, like the series, had turned into a classic. But with the pressure at its highest, the Lakers would be at their best. And down the stretch of overtime, they would refuse to relinquish their hard-earned crown.
Into O'Neal, low left. Shaq with 5 to shoot. O'Neal against Weber, 3 to shoot. Turnaround jumper, good, O'Neal. Lakers are up on the bench. They can all smell it now. Christie inbounds to Weber underneath. Tipped away by the Lakers. Fisher has it. And here's Fisher in the front court. Gives to Devin George. The game is over, and the series goes to the world champion Los Angeles Lakers.
Kobe Bryant, let me ask you a question. Is it harder to defend the title or to win the title initially?
It's much harder to defend it. I mean, they gave us a run for our money, man. And I'm sure everybody in LA was on pins and needles. And it was a hell of a series.
It really hurt losing that to the Lakers. But they had 2 Hall of Famers, 3, and a coach. So you have to deal with that and you have to move on.
I don't think anybody on our team would have had that series go any other way. To play 7 games and to win the first game and the last game in their building, that's the way you want to do it when you're talking about being a champion.
In the 2001 Eastern Conference semifinals, Vince Carter's Toronto Raptors met Allen Iverson's Philadelphia 76ers. What made the matchup so intriguing was the fact that the 2 stars could not have been more different. Carter was the high-flying, clean-cut, mainstream superstar.
You're a good boy, and you'll be here. You get to play in the NBA, and you'll be better than Michael Jordan. All right, give me 5.
While Iverson was a renegade, the icon of the hip-hop generation, the player who followed a path all his own.
I don't want to be Michael Jordan. I don't want to be Magic. I don't want to be Bird or Isaiah. I don't want to be any of those guys. When my career is over, I'm going to look in the mirror and say I did it my way.
Their dramatic setup was perfect, and right from the start, the series would become a duel between Carter and Iverson.
Iverson for 2, and he got it! He's been the Magic Man.
It was clear that each superstar was rising to the challenge.
Vince Carter says, if the little guy can do it, hey, I can do it. Wow, that's all I can say.
In Game 1, Iverson would score 36 points, but Carter would deliver the knockout punch.
Carter drives into the lane, a floater on the run, rimming off. Rebound tipped up and in by Vince Carter.
These are how stars are made. Under pressure, in the playoffs, on the road.
While Vince had drawn first blood, Game 2 would be Allen's turn to respond, and he would do so with a vengeance.
Iverson for the lead. Yes!
That was like right up his alley. You know, the stage was set. Hey, put us on your back and carry us. Carry us all the way to, parade.
Allen Iverson has scored the Sixers' last 19 straight points.
With no answer for Iverson, the Raptors could only watch as Allen poured in a playoff-high 54 points in a Sixers victory.
Allen Iverson, one for the memory books.
But while Allen celebrated, Vince plotted his revenge.
One would have a superior game. His team would win. The other guy knew, I got to get one. I've got to get a game.
With the series now tied at 1, Carter would come out firing.
It was just my time to step up. If it's a playoff series, it's not like a regular season game where you can lose 2 or 3. You lose 2 or 3, then you're probably going home.
Carter again for 3. Man, holy cow! He can't miss.
Everybody talks so much about Allen scoring 50 that Vince just came out that much more focused. And it just sent a message like, he can do it, I can do it too.
Another one! That's amazing! Amazing! Vince Carter has hit his 8th three-pointer in a row.
In a Raptor rout, Carter would hit a playoff record 8 straight three-pointers on his way to a 50-point night.
He was taking you to town downtown. You guys couldn't stop him from the outside.
You're right. You saw the game just like everybody else. You're right. I mean, ask a question. You saw that. I saw that.
Was there a way to stop him from outside?
No, man. If there was, we would have did it.
In Game 4, the Raptors would look to blow out Philly early and take control of the series. But with his unrelenting play, the much smaller Iverson would match Carter by sheer force of will and rally his Sixers.
They'd come back from 16 down to tie it.
Iverson would only score 30 points, but with the game on the line, it would be Allen who would strike the decisive blow.
It's Iverson for 3, and he got it! Oh, my goodness! And the 76ers are even this series at 2 games apiece.
Allen's dropping 54. Vince comes back and he's dropping 50. And it was one after another, one after another. It was like they were taking turns.
Before Game 5, Iverson was presented with the league's Most Valuable Player award. He was the smallest player ever to win the honor, but he had proven that heart was more important than height. And when the game began, he played like the MVP as he gave the fans a performance for the ages.
He was unstoppable. Fallaways, trip plays, fadeaways. It didn't matter. Stuff was going in that basket and the place was going wild.
AI sees all and hits all.
Throughout the playoffs, he got into a lot of people's living rooms that didn't really know who he was. And to be 165 pounds and to be 6 foot, I think people realized, man, this kid is something special. Man, I'm taller than that guy. I'm bigger than that guy. How does he do it against these monsters?
52 points for Iverson. He is the man.
And the little guy, the MVP, trots to the sideline, asking from the fans, let me hear you.
As he continued to elevate his play, Iverson was showing the basketball world just how much he cared about winning. And it seemed that no one was talking about his image any longer. But the story wasn't over yet, as Vince Carter scored 39 points to give Toronto a Game 6 win and take the series to a 7th and deciding game.
Spinning is Carter against Mutombo, the big giant. He scores anyway. That's Carter at his best.
But as Game 6 ended, Carter would step off the court and into a controversy as he chose to attend his college graduation ceremony in North Carolina on the morning of Game 7.
I spoke to each and every player on this team, gave them the opportunity to agree or disagree with the decision I was making. And a lot of people disagree with what I did, but I didn't, because I knew I was going to be ready to play.
And he was, helping the Raptors jump on Philly. They even had a surprise for Iverson as they double-teamed him and bullied him all over the court.
Iverson went down so hard, he has a hurt back, and he is grimacing in pain.
Battered and exhausted, Allen would need to make an adjustment.
Allen, I must tell you again, when they double, you got to go into some kind of passing game. The ball has to move.
Playing like a true champion, Iverson would give his team whatever it needed to win.
That's a nice find by Allen Iverson, trusting his teammates.
Handing out a career-high 16 assists, Allen pushed the Sixers into the lead.
Great feed by Iverson. He's a passing machine.
But fittingly, the game and the series would come down to a final shot from Vince.
I wanted the ball more than anything. This is my chance to go out there and win the game. And coming on the court, I was ready.
Curry has it. Carter trying to get free. Carter at the buzzer. No good. And the Sixers hold on and advance to the conference finals.
He had a chance, and that's what type of battle it was. It came down to one shot.
This was a hard one to swallow right now. All I think about is that shot. Something you live for. Maybe next year.
It was just fun because I think most of all, all the kids enjoyed it, and they got to see 7 games of excitement. That was a great series.
In the 2006 NBA Finals, the Dallas Mavericks were regarded as heavy favorites against the surprising Miami Heat.
They didn't expect us to be here, but we're here. Now we might as well go and prove it to them why we should be here. Let's go!
We're attacking now, okay? Everybody down the court now, let's go.
1, 2, 3.
And as Dallas quickly took charge of Game 1, they seemed well on their way to fulfilling the predictions of a one-sided series.
Here's Nowitzki with another 3. Good! Dirk Nowitzki sticks another one.
With Jason Terry scoring 32 points, the Mavericks cruised to victory.
And Dallas, they win Game 1 of the finals over the Miami Heat, 90-80.
Game 2 would be no better for Miami, as Shaquille O'Neal struggled through one of the worst playoff performances of his career, scoring only 5 points. It was total frustration for the Heat as Dallas tried to run them right out of the NBA Finals.
He almost lost the rebound, but around Wade, he slapped it back and bounced to Devin Harris. Off to the races, Harris finds Stackhouse, flicks a Dampier. Oh, yeah. Big two-hand flush. Oh, Dampier rocks the rim. And the Mavericks have a commanding 2-0 lead as they totally embarrass the Heat.
Back in Miami, Heat head coach Pat Riley implored his team not to surrender, using his trademark motivational skills.
After Game 2, he brought in one of the newspaper articles from the Dallas newspapers. It said, "Heat finished, Heat has no chance, they don't belong here." And then he said, "I want you guys to write this date down in your calendar." And I said, "I'm serious about it." June 20th, 2006. And the guys are looking around, and he says, "That's the first day that we have an opportunity to win a championship." And he says, "We're going to do it on that day."
And when he said that, I kind of looked around the locker room, and the guys believed him.
But Game 3 appeared to be following the same storyline as the previous 2, as Dallas continued to dominate.
Underneath, Harris hooks the hook good off the glass. Dallas is eating the Heat alive. In a very solemn American Airlines arena as the season is slowly slipping away on Miami. The Dallas Mavericks are running a clinic. Miami have to try to get their act together. They're shell-shocked. Timeout Miami.
In 6 minutes, we looking up and we see fans walking out of the stadium. People like, this is over.
When we took a timeout, first thing came out of Dwayne's mouth was, "I'm not going out like that."
Wade drives left baseline, and he got to the rim and able to score with a foul on Dallas. Dwayne Wade breathes life back into the Miami cause.
Wade understood, I've got to take over this series, or we're not going to win this.
Wade dribbles to the free throw line, the jump shot, and got it. Don't count Miami out yet. They have a chance as long as Dwayne's out there attacking the rim. Wade has brought Miami to within 5.
And he brought us back. He brought us back, single-handedly.
And he's got it wide left beyond the stripe. Wade, left baseline, wide open. The jumper, good. This is absolutely shocking.
Against all the odds, Wade had answered the call when his team needed him most.
The alley-oop tipped up in the air, and Miami has done the improbable. They have won this ball game on an unbelievable fourth quarter by Dwayne Wade.
Incredible. Just the heart that he has. He just rises to the occasion, and we kept it very simple at the end, and he kept making play after play after play, and it takes us on to another day and try to square this thing up, game 4.
It ain't over. Game 4 coming up.
With their miraculous comeback victory, Wade and the Heat had put themselves back in the series, and they would carry their momentum right into game 4.
Wade crosses over Harris, left of the lane, mid-range jumper, good. Backing in, Wade spins baseline, up off the glass and in. All Dwayne Wade, all the time.
I was in a groove, man. It's just about, myself. I'm thinking that, if I'm in a groove, I'm like, okay, I'm tough to guard right now.
He is feeling it, 5 of 7 now from the field. What a finisher.
You're really making a concerted effort to tell you, don't relax. When Wade acts like he's hurt, get all of a sudden he's well. Don't relax.
Wade shooting a 3. He hits again. Oh, my goodness. Dwayne Wade sizzling tonight.
The Heat tied the series at 2, and the stunned Mavericks were searching for answers.
We haven't found the right solution to deal with Wade yet.
In the pivotal Game 5, Wade would carry his team once again.
Foul line jumper, good. Wade, he scored the last 9 for Miami.
Here he is standing on the foul line in game 5. If he makes the free throws, the Heat go up 3-2 going back to Dallas.
Wade with 42. Heat lead.
2 swishes. Heat wins by 1 in overtime.
And Miami wins again to take a 3-2 lead.
Returning to Dallas for Game 6, the Heat knew their opportunity to make history was at hand.
Your final test. Final challenge, okay? Come on.
Looking to become just the 3rd team to win the finals after losing the first 2 games, the Heat left it all on the floor.
Wade will pop out. Daniels will pick him out the top. Daniels got some height. Those long arms on him. Spins inside. Step back. Wade, the jumper got it in. Dwayne Wade. Boy, the Heat are sitting pretty right now.
With just seconds remaining, Miami needed one last stand to complete its remarkable NBA Finals comeback.
9.1 remaining, and Dallas could tie it with a 3-pointer. Terry, 8 seconds. Terry, high right side, trying to turn the corner. Terry puts it up. Won't go. Wait, hold on. And the Miami Heat are champions of the basketball world. The best star in the league right now in young number 3, Dwayne Wade.
Over that time, he became the best player in the world. He's the best player in the world at that time.
He averaged 34.7 points. Congratulations, 2006 MVP, Dwayne Wade.
For me to never have done it before, never won a championship of that caliber, really was special to do it. In my 3rd year in the NBA, that will always hold a special place in my heart because we was always doubted, but we always overcame.
While Wade celebrated his finals triumph, his 2003 draft classmate could only look on with envy.
Say a friend come over your house and he got something that you wanted, but at the time you just can't get it, you can't have it, you know what I'm saying? So you're like, wow, man, I got to do anything to get that.
That same season, 2006, LeBron James had led his Cavaliers into the playoffs. In the Eastern Conference semifinals, Cleveland pushed the battle-tested Pistons to the limit, only to lose in 7 games.
What we have created in the Detroit and Cleveland series is a bit of a rivalry. And going to Game 7 the year before, where we might have had a chance to advance.
1 year later, LeBron would have his chance for revenge, this time with a trip to the NBA Finals on the line.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Palace of Auburn Hills for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, with the Pistons, of course, with one thing on their minds, an NBA title.
1, 2, 3,
But they must get by LeBron James and the Cavs along the way.
With the Pistons holding a 2-point lead in the waning seconds of Game 1, most expected LeBron to take the final shot. Instead, he would choose a different strategy.
To Daniel Marshall for 3. Off the iron.
While the Cavs found themselves down 1-0, LeBron faced questions about his last-second decision.
Did you feel that you didn't have a shot at the layup and that's why you kicked it out to Danielle, or were you going for the win with that pass?
No, I go for the winning play. And the winning play, if 2 guys come at you and there's a teammate open, then give it up.
Game 2 again found James with the ball and a chance for the game-winning play.
Detroit by 1. Hamilton on James. Down to 10. Here's LeBron spinning. Not able to hit. Cross. He leads for the fadeaway. Comes up short. The kick is missed. And Detroit won it.
While LeBron's decision had been different, the result was the same. Another tough loss for Cleveland and a 2-0 deficit. Heading home to the comfort zone of Cleveland, the Cavaliers look to change their fortunes.
One thing about our team, at home we're a very good team. And in the postseason, in the past, we've been a very good team. So we had a chance to make it a new series.
The Cavs would do just that, and this time there was no stopping their superstar.
Oh, what a move by James!
With James leading their comeback, the revitalized Cavaliers took both games at home, evening the series at 2. They returned to Detroit for Game 5 with renewed confidence and a new outlook.
It's a series now. We had to hold down home court, but now it's a 3-game series, and it's the first team to 2, so we got to approach it like that.
The first 2 games, I thought we did a good job putting some pressure on LeBron. The last 2, I didn't think we did as good a job.
We've been here before. We're a better team, man. We're more experienced. We've been in the trenches together.
Going into Game 5 in Detroit, a hostile environment, you just feel like it's just your 12 teammates and your coaching staff against the whole city of Detroit.
Sideline left to take shot. Baseline drive on Pavlovich. And a reverse dunk. Wow! You can't hear yourself think at the Palace.
He drove and we had everybody stand and look and let him shoot a layup. Okay, we can't have that happen.
With the game tied entering the 4th quarter and control of the series up for grabs, LeBron decided that this was his time to take over.
LeBron with the step back stuffs. 89-88 Cleveland. As soon as that happens, Chris, I want you to go right to the spot right here.
Late in the 4th quarter, Detroit would reclaim the lead.
Here's Billups for 3. Pistons 91. Cavaliers 89.
As the 4th quarter started running down, it got to a point where I say, we've come this far, and I'm thinking this in my head now. As a leader, I can't allow my team to fail.
Down to 10. James with the step. And the game is tied at 91. And we head to overtime.
Run to the top. Make sure you drive it.
Going into the first overtime, I had one more gear, and I was telling myself, it's no looking back now. We have to get this win.
He's the best individual player on the floor. Let's see if he has the ability to give his team a 3-2 lead going back.
Sideline right, Guns got it.
Oh, LeBron James drills it from downtown.
When you're in the zone, you feel like you're unstoppable. When you're making everything, you're making fadeaways, you off the dribble, catch and shoot.
What a shot by LeBron James.
You're not thinking about the consequences of missing. You don't believe you're going to miss.
all you're thinking about is your next make. And how are you going to will your team to victory?
But for every big shot by LeBron, the proud Pistons seemed to have an answer as the two teams would battle on into a second overtime. And it was becoming apparent that the survivor of this epic struggle would have to search deep within themselves to find something extra.
That's what I stay after practice for, and this is what I be in the weight room for. If it's that one game where you need to use every little bit of energy to help your team win, you need to do it now. Game 5 was definitely that game where I hit that switch and said, this is the game where you need to use every last energy cell you have.
Here's James for 3. Yes, and the game is tied at 107.
This is unbelievable. This is Jordan-esque.
The scenario unfolded just like the first two games. LeBron with the ball in his hands and the game on the line.
107, 8 seconds to play in double OT. LeBron against Chauncey, puts it on the floor, lefty.
4, 3, James scores with 2.2 to go.
When you start seeing those fans almost cheer for you silently, you know it's a great feeling.
And the Cavaliers come away with an improbable victory here at the Palace.
And the horn just ended in the second overtime, and I looked up at the scoreboard and we had won the game. I wish I could have laid down right there on the bench.
48 points for LeBron James. He scored the last 25 points for Cleveland, 29 of the last 30. This goes down as one of the all-time performances in NBA history.
This was definitely a big win for our franchise. And at the same time, I was thinking we have another one coming up.
One win from the NBA Finals. LeBron's supporting cast proved that Cleveland was not just a one-man show.
My teammates came out in Game 6 and said, hey, LeBron is definitely trying to do everything possible for us to win. Now we need to help him bring it over the hump.
With rookie Daniel Gibson hitting clutch shots with the poise of a veteran, the Cavaliers sealed their first ever trip to the NBA Finals.
LeBron will heave the ball skyward. The Cavaliers have knocked off the Detroit Pistons, and they are headed to the NBA Finals.
I feel like I'm dreaming right now. I promise you. Don't pinch me. Don't pinch me. Don't pinch me.
LeBron's heroics would be added to the list of other clutch performances that have become legendary moments in NBA playoff history.
The game is tied at 79. Come on! You gotta want to win!
They let the rookie handle Wade out in front, trying to create off the dribble.
Wade putting the move on Davis.
Wade puts it up. It's good!
Yeah, baby! Came through! Stan Van Gundy went to the rookie and he delivered!
Arenas, played by Heinrich. Here's Arenas. This for the win. Yes! It's over! The Wizards have defeated the Bulls. They win at the buzzer on the jumper by Gilbert Arenas.
Ginobili will inbound to Duncan. He gets doubled. Shaq all over him. He gets away a fadeaway. He banks it with 4:10 left. Unbelievable. 4:10 remaining in the fifth game. They get it to Fisher. He scores! Derek Fisher scores at the buzzer.
I've never seen an ending like this before.
That's off the charts.
Wow, what a finish.
Horry will throw in. The player who throws in is frequently the player for whom the play is run. He comes in on the bounce to Ginobili. Back to Horry. He shoots for three. Oh, my goodness. Robert Horry hitting a three on the left wing. And Big Shot Bob did it again.
They'd love to get it into Nash's hands, and they do. Ball knocked away, stolen by Parker. Here comes George to Kobe Bryant. Bryant inside. It's good. It's good. Tie game. Bryant with the save. Oh, you got to get a shot here. Final seconds. Bryant for the win.